Name and badge number. Name and badge number. 15. Name. Is that what you tell the judge?
Yep. So
Are you sure? I don't identify myself. I don't answer questions.
I'm here for an incident, so.
Well, did I commit a crime?
I don't know yet.
Well, go figure that out and then come back. I ain't helping you do your job. I need your name and badge number. I dealt with you before. What's your name?
You know him?
I can't read that,
Yeah,
but okay. That's what you tell the judge. What's your name and badge number? That's your policy to identify yourself, sir. Name and badge number. You failing to ID yourself, sir? I need your supervisor. You are the supervisor? We're having a conversation in a private home. You guys are on private property with no crime. You are my servant.
Okay, anyway.
You serve me, sir. No, you serve me. I don't want to hear your questions. Yeah, I don't want to hear you either. Get out of here. You're dismissed. All three of you. Bye. Bye. Dismissed.
Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer instructor. I train instruct military and law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, advanced investigations, etc. And let me just start out by addressing some of the complaints by those of you who are law enforcement. I've received quite a few messages, and I've talked to a few of you guys who finally reached out to me, and I have to constantly, and I have to remind, and I want to remind you, if you're law enforcement and you're watching this, I'm not trying to be overly difficult on you, and I'm not trying to second guess the things that you guys are doing, in the here and now, okay? And you also have to remember, because I have to remind many of you, I'm an active law enforcement officer. I hold an active advanced state credential, and I'm doing the job every day as well. So I'm doing a law enforcement job just like you are. So I'm actively going out, putting my shield and my firearm on, and I'm also doing work as a law enforcement officer. So I do understand the day-to-day grind. That's not lost upon me. Okay, I understand how hard this job is, and for those of you that aren't law enforcement, make no mistake, this is one of the hardest jobs out there. From a stress level, from the fact that every single day can be different, how fast things change. I totally get that. Again, that's not lost upon me. But at the same time, I feel like as law enforcement, you're not doing yourself any favors either, right? And the best way to mitigate a lot of these problems is through knowledge. And you really can't take this job. You can't take this job personally. And so as we see this interaction, it's amazing how easy, right, we can shut down these toxic conversations with people by simply being respectful and then just knowing the venue. If this was something I was going on, I'd have no problem. I'm here making contact with somebody at their residence, right? I would expect any officer that comes to my house to treat me with respect and to identify who they are and to explain to me why they're there. That's just an expectation that I would have. And if that officer didn't want to explain that to me, I wouldn't want him at my residence either. And I am law enforcement. And don't think for a second that you as a law enforcement officer wouldn't expect that same courtesy, right? I don't know any law enforcement officers out there that would say, yeah, I don't mind a police officer coming to my house and treating me like crap. I don't know anybody. So, it really goes both ways. But I think it's important here on the screen. You can see Brown v. Texas, 1979. Again, the Supreme Court has affirmed that law enforcement needs reasonable, articulable suspicion in order to detain and compel somebody to identify themselves, right? Why is that important? Because it's of no consequence that you as a law enforcement officer are responding to a call for service. That's inconsequential, right? And I get it. There are times where you respond to a call and you have no reasonable articulable suspicion. It's literally a cold contact, and that's fine. In this case, right, in what I teach, and what I teach especially young officers, you get there, you understand what you can understand, and then if you don't have it, you don't have it, right? In this case, if this was me, and I've done this thousands of times, just like every other police officer, you make contact with that citizen. Hi, my name is so-and-so. This is my badge number. This is where I'm from. This is what's going on. I have no problem if you're recording. Absolutely. So this is what we were told. Again, I would love to know your side of things. You don't want to tell me your side of things? Okay, perfect. He's answered all the questions I need to know to move on with my day, you know? And so I think with things like this, I think it's important that, again, I don't think routine patrol officers get enough of it, but there's an entire there's so many investigative tools that you could be using to implement to find out what's really happening. And again, and if you just can't, then cool. It's okay to wash your hands of the call and then move on with your day, right? There's no reason to stay there to flex power that you don't have, right? And I think that's, again, it has to be said, I think that's important. It's absolutely okay to get somewhere and realize I don't have enough to go forward. Bye. And I've done that. I've gotten questioned by supervisors that, well, why didn't you push the issue? There's nothing to push. I either constitutionally have, a reason to be there, or I don't. And if you want me to write an information report about why I didn't have reasonable suspicion or probable cause, I would love to do that for you. I'll be in the squad room getting that typed up for you, right? And I get a lot of this is just poor, toxic leadership as well. But at the end of the day, if you ask me what side of liberty and freedom I want to be on, it's very clear. I'm here for the Constitution. It's simple. I mean, I don't get paid enough to do this job to violate anybody's rights. I don't get paid enough to not abide by the Constitution. And so, again, that's just kind of something to think about. And a lot of this, too, let me just quickly say this. A lot of this should be mitigated with the RPs, right? If this is one of those things where it's a family disturbance and there's constant disturbances, again, in empowering your RPs to be able to give you evidentiary information is critical, especially those frequent flyer houses that you're constantly go to. I've been very clear, and I am very clear. I take the extra time to tell these RPs, these responding parties, the people that are calling, people that are making the phone call. I get that you're aggravated. I get all these things, right? I understand the fact that you called because you hear something or see something, but without that evidentiary information, I can't act on it. And this is the case law, plain and simple. I have no problem getting on my phone and showing screenshots of this. And if you wanted to do it too, you could. I mean, these screenshots are from my course. They're copywritten, but heck, who's going to stop you? How can I stop you if you screenshot my slides here on the YouTube cops and then show people? Like I have had so many cops that have told me, like, I actually take screenshots and I've been showing people because, it's just so much easier to explain and be like, hey, this is what the law is. This is what I can and can't do. Use it. If that needs to be your out, that's your out, But at the end of the day, man, like, what side of freedom do you want to be on? I'm for the Constitution. Plain and simple. And so empowering your RPs to, hey, can you record it next time? Hey, if this is going to happen, can you have your phone out? Can you record? Can you do this? Can you do that? Where does your, all these different things. This is 2025. The technology is there. And so again, empowering yourself to be good investigators and empowering the people that are constantly making these calls for service. Again, these are just tools in your tool belt. So there you have it. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And again, at the end of the day, for those of you that are law enforcement, I get it. You guys are overworked, underpaid. You have the weight of the world on you. And again, this isn't me trying to be overly critical. This is just, we have to remember this is the reality of the situation we live in. All I can do is give you the truth and then remind you guys, I get it because I do the job too. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have questions, please leave in the comment section below. And most importantly, tell me, what are your thoughts on this? As always, long live the Republic.